So Samsung sent over two phones, the baseline Galaxy S21 and the top-of-the-line S21 Ultra. They also sent over the new Smart Tag. It's basically their Bluetooth keyring tracker that's sort of a competitor to the Tile that we've seen for years and years now. We'll get into both of these phones, of course, starting with the regular S21 because there's a lot more to talk about with the S21 Ultra. But before we get into the boxes, I want to talk about just how thin those boxes actually are. These are, of course, Samsung's first phones to ship without any sort of in-box headphones or charging brick. So I believe all we're getting in here is the phone itself, maybe a charging cable, and some documentation. But let's set these other two aside and get into the S21. Now you can see from the colored S on the box that this is shipping in Samsung's new flagship color, Phantom Violet. If you're not a fan of purple, you can also get the S21 in Phantom Pink, Gray, or White. But I really like the look of the color on the box, so hopefully the phone holds up. We'll pull the top off of the box. There's no tape or anything on this review unit, but it is my first time seeing the phone. Of course, it's covered by classic Samsung, just sheet of paper. And now we have a pull tab for the phone itself. So at first the phone looks a little glossy, but that's just a plastic covering on the back. We'll peel that off. And on that note, speaking of plastic, the entire phone, the baseline S21 does have a polycarbonate plastic back. This is very similar to the design of the S20 FE that we saw late last year. I'm actually quite a fan of this. I think it's a really well done plastic. It doesn't feel cheap by any means, but you will notice this is definitely not glass. You'll also notice the new contour cut camera housing that blends into the metal rails on the sides of the phone. I really like this design. I think it looks very modern, very futuristic, and it definitely helps the phone stand out visually in a crowd. Aside from that new camera housing though, this really looks like any other Samsung phone with tight bezels around the display and the kind of great build quality we've come to expect. Now, while that's booting, we'll get back into the box and see what else comes inside. You can see this Verizon SIM that was already pre-installed in the phone, along with some do not accept if seal is broken stickers. Under that is just a little box that contains the SIM removal tool, along with a few extra goodies. And of course, by goodies, I mean a charging cable, USB-C to USB-C. Great. Now, as promised, we can get into the box for the Galaxy S21 Ultra. One quick note on the regular S21 is that it has a flat display for the first time in years on a core Galaxy S device. Now, if you want the curved display, you've got to go with the S21 Ultra. We'll grab the pull tab, and once again, you can see this great looking matte finish, this time in a striking black. I really like the way this looks, kind of a murdered out black look. There's also a silver option available if that's more your thing, but I think this is definitely the way to go personally. If you've ever seen a matte black wrapped car in the wild, or maybe you've even owned one, this is basically what that looks like. It looks fantastic. It's very striking, very sleek. You can see the giant new camera housing that Samsung is once again calling the contour cut camera design, this time with room for 4 cameras plus an infrared sensor up top that should fix the autofocusing issues that we saw on last year's S20 Ultra. This time around, Samsung is calling the 108 megapixel primary sensor its bright night sensor. It's been improved to perform much better in low light and still has 9:1 pixel binning for 12 megapixel output. There's also an ultra-wide camera and 2 telephoto cameras for the first time on a Galaxy device, one at 3x and one at 10x. The phone will automatically switch between the lenses depending on your zoom length. Unlike the smaller Galaxy S21, the S21 Ultra has a glass back, though you wouldn't know it from this matte texture that they first introduced on the Note 20 Ultra. I'm a really big fan of this. I think it looks great, especially with this black coating. And of course, up front is the curved glass display. Now, the S21 Ultra is the only phone of the 3 with a 1440p resolution, and because of that, it's also Samsung's first device that can output 1440p and 120Hz at the same time. It's a really great looking display, but of course, there's one other key feature that makes this phone different from the other two. So the S21 is the first Galaxy S device that supports the S Pen stylus, complete with the same pressure sensitivity and air gestures that you would expect on a Galaxy Note device. You can use the S Pen from any previous Galaxy Note or Galaxy Tab device, and Samsung has already confirmed that it's also going to be working on an S Pen Pro that'll enable the same kind of Bluetooth capabilities we see on the Note 20. We're going to be testing the S Pen along with all of the new camera capabilities on both phones over the coming weeks, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss when those videos go live. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.